Bizarre Brain Comics. Gary here for Bizarre Brain Comics once again. A few months ago, I did an episode featuring Mad, in which I went into more detail about a specific story, and that issue, it was a number one. This is a number two. These are from 1997. They were reprinting the original Mad comics from the early 50s from EC Comics. That's EC, Entertaining Comics. And the title that was created by I suddenly lost his name. Harvey Kurtzman. That's it. Harvey Kurtzman. And of course, Kurtzman has been around. Of course, he's gone now, but through comics and other stuff for decades. Did all kinds of stuff and other humor magazines. And unfortunately, this has some moisture damage, so the cover is all wrinkly. And this issue, reprints three more of those comics. And of course, this is done at magazine size, but of course, Mad was originally a comic book at standard comic book size. And I would love to have some of those. And those of you who've been may have been viewing my programs for a while probably realize that I have a very eclectic taste in my comic reading material. And I've been collecting comics my whole life, but unlike so many others, I'm not out there to grab something expensive. To as an investment or to complete a run and never take it out of the package or anything like that. My interest is primarily in reading. Have something that's why I have a lot that are books that are older and damaged and often coverless, because I'm more interested in reading. That's what they're for, is to read. And I have no problems with reprinted material, especially if it's getting that, especially if it's in something that allows you to read something that would be cost prohibitive to buy a collector's copy of. And hence my stuff is kind of damaged. And this happened here. I had it in the bathroom for reading, and the steam from the shower kind of spoiled the cover, which I am not happy with, but that's why. Okay, and of course, Mad Comics, all of EC Comics, they kind of went away in the early 50s largely because of the Comics Code. Basically the rules of the Comics Code were designed specifically to kill EC Comics, which it did shortly after that, and it had many conflicts with Bill Gaines had many conflicts with the Comics Code Authority. And so he just stopped publishing all of his titles except for Mad. And that is when they decided to make it a full-sized magazine. And black and white, and put it on the magazine racks instead of on the comic racks. And it's when it really blew up because of was exposed to a wider and older audience than just the regular comics format. And of course, as in the comic, I just love the comic stuff though. But I liked a lot of the other stuff, later stuff. That's how I was introduced to it. A lot of the early stuff was parody of comics. Initially, and primarily in the first few issues, was primarily parodying their own material. And then they expanded out to other comic material, and eventually getting into some, at that time, radio shows, early TV shows, and movies. And then that's what they were known for largely later in magazine format. That's what I really loved them for, was the movie and TV show parody. And sometimes they were better than the source material. So I just wanted to have a little look. In here, I'm not going to cover any story in any detail here. This is number 2 from 77. And here is the cover for the original comic of issue 4, and with the Harvey Kurtzman cover, and it features the Shadow. But here we get into the first story, and this is probably the most famous and best known classic EC comic book story known, which is Superduper Man, the Wally Wood parody of Superman. And you can see it has some great artwork. Now, Wally Wood was well known and great for his very realistic work, but he was also so well known and almost as good at with his humorous, cartoonish aspects. And of course, he's best known for his gorgeous, beautiful, sexy women. And here, this is something that was well known for in all through Mad's run. Is see all these little things in the background in the pictures, in the stories, little humorous things. New super soap, super crunchies. EC for me, EC, super, everything's super. And all that little humorous, funny stuff is known as chicken fat. I don't know why they call it chicken fat. And here you can see this lady right here, just typical Wally Wood, except she's even more exaggerated than he normally does women. And punching out, there's big, humongous Superduper Man punching out this crippled old man. And anyway, here we go. Let me see. This is, what's his name? Clark Bent. And he cleans out spittoons in the Daily Dirt newspaper. You can see him. Of course, nobody knows that he's really Superduper Man. He's so goofy and nerdy looking to extremes. And then, of course, there's Lois Payne, I think is what her name is here. And again, the Wally Wood image of the gorgeous, sexy woman, and just doesn't want to have anything to do with him. And of course, something trouble rears his head into the phone booth, and he comes as Superduper Man. All kinds of stuff. And here they make reference to the long and Captain Marbles, and make reference, of course, to Captain Marvel, Shazam. Now, and how they had at about this time, up until the shortly before the Captain Marvel Shazam stuff was Fawcett ceased publication, they had a big battle. It actually outsold Superman, but they had a long-running court battle, and this is what it's making reference to here, of copyright infringement. And then, of course, DC eventually got control of Captain Marvel and Shazam. And it's just sheer humor. And this is, as I said, this is probably one of the best known, and how they're fighting they're two equal. And he uses a little goofy thing to defeat him. And and he just thinks he's going to make time with Lois Payne, and then she cleans his clock, and he's back to cleaning out the spittoons. And this is a romance department. Flob was a slob, and this was I'm not sure. I saw earlier who it was, but I don't remember. That was Jack Davis. Yeah, it is Jack Davis. It's looks a little different, but yeah, Jack Davis, great stuff. He's best known for his horror comics, and then later for all his humor stuff. He worked for Marvel. Correction. Well, he did some stuff for Marvel too, some westerns and some more stuff, and did for Mad Magazine for ages, and even did movie posters and parody Robin Hood. And even at this time, the movie had been out for like 15 years. The classic Robin Hood movie, and probably another version or two out there. But it's just, and this is drawn by, no, it's not John Severin. Bill Elder. Oh, it is John Severin. Okay. His inking looks a little different. Yeah, because he did most of the adventures type parodies at this time. Great John Severin art. And we get into the Shadow at this time. Of course, the Shadow was a big radio show, had been since the 30s, and still Bill Elder. No one can see him, and then this is why he's so good, horrid looking. And later they have other Shadow parodies. And again, Keen Private Eye. That was based on the radio show here, Outer Sanctum, parody of the Inner Sanctum, and this is drawn by Bill Elder. Some great stuff. And then we get into, this guy makes this horrid monster. Here it is. This horrid monster comes up out of the swamp. Kind of a parody of the Heat, but even though it's the Outer Sanctum. And then back to comic parodies. The Black and Blue Hawks from DC Comics, which had originally been in Quality Comics in the 40s. And of course, this is Wally Wood, Blackhawks. Great aviation stuff. Oh, it's just his parody is just spot on, just as it was with and Gorgeous Woman again. Yeah, and back to John Severin with Milty of the Mounties. Is this a issue? No. John Severin again. Milty of the Mounties as Sergeant Preston of the Yukon parody. And then Keen Private Eye for the crime and detective, both radio and in the comics, the detective type comic books. And here we go, issue 6. And here we get more into movies. Oh, but first, Teddy and the Pirates. Teddy and the Pirates, of course, Wally Wood again. And again, his beautiful and all the intricate little details. And of course, this is a parody of Milton Caniff's Terry and the Pirates comic strip, which I'm not sure if it was still running at this time or not, because he was doing Steve Canyon at the time. It's not even trying to imitate Caniff's style, but it's just some really great stuff. And this is how the Dragon Lady, incredibly gorgeous woman, and then John Severin again, Melvin of the Apes. They did a Melvin of the Apes in I think it was the first issue of Mad Comics, and here it is doing it again. And as I said before, I think this is the closest I've ever seen of John Severin doing Tarzan, and he could have done some beautiful Tarzan stuff. I really like that. It's very good apes. His apes look. And then Jack Davis. This is more like the regular Jack Davis humor style. some sports humor, and some of this kind of stuff led into the magazine. And here we go, a parody of King Kong Ping Pong, drawn by Bill Elder, I believe it is. And funny, a paddle wheel boat going across the island. The kind of the racist or parody of the natives is very cringeworthy today, but the whole thing is still very, very funny. And here he is, they get him back, and he's not, everybody else is small, he's not so big as they thought. Oh, that's funny. And of course, this is what was going to be featured in number 3, which I've never had. But then I also wanted to really wanted to show you this. Is this book here? Look at this. This is Mad for Decades. And look how thick this is. That's about 3 inches deep. And this book, of course, it's got various versions of Alfred E. Neuman. And of course, this was before they had Alfred E. Neuman. This stuff was all before they had Alfred E. Neuman. But this reprints, damage to the dust jacket. It goes, and it starts with the comic book stuff. Not all of it by any means, but some of the stuff that I just showed you there. Ping pong. Get that out of there. And here, Starchy. A parody of Archie comics. Starchy. Where's that first page? Yeah. Disapproved reading. And of course, here they're juvenile delinquents. Bill Elder. And of course, doing sex. Bill Elder is known for doing sexy women. He did Little Annie Fanny with Harvey Kurtzman for Playboy for many, many years. Here we've got a Mickey Mouse parody. And then here we go into the magazine era. And you can see how things change. Howdy Doody parody. Flash Gordon parody. Of course, again, this is Wally Wood. Great stuff. Great, because he's best for science fiction. You name it. You name it. Oh, and it even had, I saw, just as I was flicking through, Basil Wolverton, who I did a few weeks ago. Some cool Basil Wolverton stuff. Elvis the Pelvis, all parody, and of course, his best known and what I liked best were the movie and TV show parodies. I'm going to get some more farther up here. I think this is, The Fugitive. Mort Drucker. He was really great for this stuff because he was so good at the caricatures. And the Man from Auntie, parody of The Man from Uncle. And the funny thing is, in the Avengers TV series, that's the British Avengers, was with John Steed and Emma Peel. They had an episode which parodied The Man from Uncle, and that was called The Man from Auntie. Also, so, there's some great Mort Drucker caricatures. And here we go. It's the Batman TV show parody, and parody comic strips. The hippies, they just kept right up with the times. Whatever was popular at the time. It's just basically a parody of the pop culture at the time. Sesame Street, Reality Street, Mary Tyler Moore Show, MASH, I don't know what that is, Jaws, All the President's Men, the Me generation, you name it, Star Wars. So if you get a chance, this is from 2007, and if you like Mad, and you've got to get this. You should probably be able to find it on Amazon, or might even still be able to find it at some bookstores, or at least secondhand bookstores. And I recommend it. If you're a mad fan, you're mad, all right. And this book here is for you. Oh, that's all I've got. This is a little shorter thing, but running longer than I intended. So thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. And remember, comics are mad.